Hi guys, so today's tutorial is going to be all on chaturanga. So in many of my flows, you've probably heard me say chaturanga your version or move through your vinyasa. What I mean is that this is a key transition that happens between flows in a full class or full sequence, and it's used in many different yoga classes, mostly in my vinyasa classes. But I wanted to kind of break it down today so that you are able to modify in the best way that works for you, and so that you fully understand just the transition. I also wanted to point out that Chaturanga Dandasana, or four-limb staff pose is what it's called in English, is actually the posture itself that you saw in the thumbnail. And this tutorial is going to be on the entire transition, since we kind of use that term a lot of times in the yoga practice as the full transition, but technically it's just the pose itself. And if you're wondering, when I do these beginner, intermediate, and advanced versions, which way is correct, well, really it means which way is correct for you, because as long as you can hold any of these, meaning not lose your form, not hurting yourself, and if it's comfortable for you, then that is the right one for you. So believe me, not only will I use a beginner chaturanga vinyasa to warm up for the more advanced version when I'm doing my own practice or my own classes, but if my form starts to get compromised and I could just tell that I'm getting tired, I'll actually go back and do the beginner ones as well. So yeah, if you want to learn about that, want to learn about a beginner, intermediate, and advanced chaturanga, then stick around. So I'm just going to start with a beginner chaturanga vinyasa. So starting in Tadasana with my feet hips distance, grounding down through all four corners of the feet, I send my palms forward for a mountain pose. Inhale, send both palms up to the sky. Palms come to touch. Exhale, folding down, placing a generous bend in the knees. Plant your palms. Step one foot back and then the other for plank. Fingers spread wide, pressing away from the ground. And then drop the knees, uncurl the toes. From here, shift the torso forward. Keep the elbows in and slowly come down to the ground. Notice how I did that in a straight line and I didn't belly flop onto the ground. Inhale, baby cobra. So my chest lifts a little bit off of the ground. Legs are engaged so much so that the kneecaps lift. So my thighs are super engaged. I exhale, come back down. Inhale, lift up the hips. First, curl the back toes under and then lift up the knees for downward facing dog. So placing a generous bend in my knees if I need to as a beginner in this portion. And then slowly tiptoeing up to the top of the mat for my forward fold. And inhaling to come all the way up, or however the class goes from there. So that was a beginner one. Next, I'm going to show you kind of an intermediate version of doing it. So starting in same position, Tadasana mountain pose. Feet are hips distance here. Inhale, send both palms up, look up, palms come to touch. Exhale, fold all the way down. Plant both palms. So I can straighten my legs here if I'm comfortable. Step one foot back then the other. Staying in plank this time, not dropping the knees. Shift forward. So my shoulders are shifting over my wrists. Again, keep the elbows in. Come down halfway so that I'm making a 90-degree angle with my elbows. And then inhale, flip the toes, coming to upward facing dog instead of baby cobra. So you can see my legs are super active, kneecaps are lifting off of the ground. Have a slight dip in the chin. Then curling the back toes under, coming to downward facing dog. And then looking forward and stepping up to the top of the mat. And from here, coming up. So that was like an intermediate way of doing it. Next, going to show you the advanced version. So instead of feet hips distance, let's actually bring the big toes to touch, little space between the heels for our mountain pose. Palms face forward, inhale. Palms come all the way up, and then to touch. Exhale, float all the way down. Palms plant into the ground. From here, bend the knees. On this exhale, where you were floating all the way down, you're actually going to use that same exhale to jump back to your chaturanga. Inhale for your up dog. And exhale to your down dog. Look forward. Place a little bend in the knees. And then you can step up or kind of float or hop to the front of your mat. And coming up. So usually this transition ends either in the downward facing dog or in the forward fold, depending on kind of how the class goes. I hope that these kind of help you out in your journey, whether you need to modify and give yourself a break sometimes, or maybe it gives you something to work towards and you want to try to get towards the intermediate or advanced version. I think one thing I even forgot to say is that when you are up here in your upward salute, you don't have to bring the palms together to come down this way. You can also turn the palms outward and float down as if it was like more of a swan dive. So just that's one kind of last note that I forgot to mention, but it gives you a little bit more space also if you're a beginner as well. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to answer them. And if you are new to my channel, I think I even forgot to say, my name is Heather and I upload new free yoga classes to this channel every week. So please make sure to click the subscribe button to receive that, and have a wonderful day, you guys. Namaste, and I will see you in the next one.